Ladies and gentlemen, now let me tell you what's going to happen over the next 10 days or 2 weeks. At least this is my assessment of the way things are going to play out as far as the war is concerned. My first prediction is this is now entering the last fortnight. Both sides are tired. There's a lot of fatigue which is built up within the system, both in Iran and in America. America is more fatigued than it is willing to accept it is because there's democratic pressure within the United States of America. And for all the big talk, Trump is coming under that pressure. So my first prediction is that it's going to be over within a week or 2 weeks, my sense. And outermost limit, in my view, would be closer to the second week of April at the most. Now, viewers, don't go by what I'm saying. I just am putting my predictive assessment. So now comes the whole issue of the spoils of war. America loves a war. There are three ways in which America is going to make money out of the war. One option is petering out, which is a long drawn war like Ukraine, so that the American defense industry can keep pumping in the money, their stock prices can keep going up. Just take a look at the kind of share price increases of the big American companies that we've seen over the last 3 weeks of this particular war. They've been soaring. Now that's not going to happen. The second way in which you can make money out of the war is in the rebuilding effort. That will happen after all this infrastructure is destroyed, and there'll be a rebuilding effort after the war. But there is a third way in which Trump makes money of the wars, which brings me right at the start of what I want to say. Trump, I believe, makes money from the wars by saying one thing today, doing something else tomorrow, changing the line, having the inside information. I believe he tells his friends, his benefactors, they make money, he makes money. It's all about money. This war for Trump is about money. Now, what Trump said yesterday, for example, he said, I've instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a good 5-day period. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what happened business-wise after that? On the basis of what Trump said, the markets rebounded. There was a sentimental change in the market. Oil prices before his comment, $112 a barrel. They fell to $99 a barrel. After all the news strikes, ladies and gentlemen, they changed again. But there was a change. According to reports, because of Trump's announcement about giving a 5-day ceasefire, and the sentimental impact on the market, according to reports, $580 million of oil bets were placed minutes before Donald Trump's Iran post. Trading took place, according to reports, between 6:49 a.m. and 6:50 a.m. New York time on Monday, and as reported by the Pink media, around 6,200 Brent and WTI crude contracts were traded just 15 minutes before Trump announced, after which oil prices fell sharply and stock markets jumped. What does this mean? This means that there is some insider trading going on. Either Trump or his close group are revealing information, and there is possible insider knowledge. And on the basis of the insider knowledge, someone within the White House knows what Trump is about to say, what impact it's going to have on the market. They are making hundreds of billions of dollars, and that's it. This is all about that lot of money being made. This war, at this stage, is about money. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment the money is made, he goes back and does what he was doing. So he goes back and starts hitting the gas administration building and gas reduction stations on Kaveh Street in Isfahan, a major city in central Iran, along with nearby homes. At a gas management facility in Isfahan, there was a large-scale explosion. I'll show you the visuals out there. In Khorramshahr, a port city in southwest Iran near the Iraqi border, a projectile struck the power plant gas line. Right? The officials said there were no casualties. It doesn't matter whether it's Israel hitting or America hitting. The fact is, Trump said, I'm not going to hit. Then he and his friends went on and made a lot of money in the markets. Once the money was made, they went on and started hitting again. The moment the money is made, America starts hitting again. So they made money. They made lots of money. They made billions and billions of dollars. Ladies and gentlemen, they went and started hitting other places again. Now, let me show you the CENTCOM visuals. US Central Command, what you're going to see here right now are military installations that were released, pictures by CENTCOM. And they're back to hitting again. These are latest images. Aircraft, drone, tanker seen locked in on target and a hit followed by a massive explosion. Army truck, target locked, shot. Multiple trucks and nearby facilities also targeted and struck. Ladies and gentlemen, they are back to hitting again. There was never supposed to be a ceasefire at all. It was about offering a small-term sentimental change in the market based upon a Truth Social tweet, allowing his friends to make money. As Chris Wright said, everybody makes money in war. And that quote of Chris Wright, that a lot of money was made, a lot of money was made. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to say is that Trump has realized that this war is going to peter out. He's not going to be able to sustain this war beyond a 10-day period. He's got to make the money in the short term. He knows there's a back channel on, and according to my own sources, the back channel is being done by Oman and Qatar. Yesterday I was not sure. Today I can tell you Oman and Qatar have leverage. Oman was the key mediator before the war. Omani Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi is on record saying they were close to a deal in Geneva before the war started. They have trust on the Iranian side. Qatar has traditionally played a mediator in the region, from the Doha talks between the Taliban and the Americans to facilitating a prisoner swap between Iran and USA in 2003. Qatar, ladies and gentlemen, Qatar has leverage. And there is a foreign ministry statement from Qatar where they have said, we have not registered any attacks that merited issuing alerts in the past couple of days, but doesn't mean we weren't targeted. Point I'm trying to make is there are only two countries who have leverage, and they are negotiating between Iran and America. Israel is not a factor in this. The talks are happening directly. So my first point, we are in a dying phase of a war. Second point, this war is going to last about 2 weeks. Third point is, I believe Trump and his insider gang have made a lot of money. Trump has realized the war is going to wind down. This is the last chance to offer insider information, to offer this kind of oil futures trading, to offer somebody an opportunity to make hundreds of billions of dollars, because the war is winding down. Both sides, there is tremendous fatigue, and all this is pointing towards something institutional that might happen in the next 10 days, which would lead to the war ending. America has now realized that they have not won the war. It's only about sharing the spoils of the war. There are three ways in which there are spoils of war. One, defense production, weapons, ammo, logistics, supply chain. From World War II to now, that's how America has traditionally made money. From World War II to Ukraine, that's how you make money. Long war, big military production, big contracts, big consumers. Second, reconstruction of the economy. Post-war, there's going to be an infrastructure boom, the maximum money. Same American companies will be down there in the Middle East for reconstructive work in the Middle East. So they are keeping up all the reconstruction work they have to do in all places that have been hit by Iran. Third point, futures trading. Oil, commodities, volatility. This is what Trump knows very well. He's doing futures trading. Futures trading. So he's sharing the spoils of the war. But let me tell Donald Trump something. He and his friends are making money, I'm sure, through insider trading. But he's lost his political capital. He's going to be incredibly weak. Incredibly weak. Maybe very, very rich. Maybe he can buy 100 Mar-a-Lagos after this, but he's going to be very weak politically after the war. Read my lips. We can take a bet on this.